November, and although it is lovely and sunny outside, it's blooming cold. So as you can see, I'm not at the allotment. I haven't had a big revamp of my shed. I'm actually sitting in my front room by a lovely open fire. So because I'm a little bit net. But what I thought I'd do this week is just something slightly different. Instead of filming at the allotment, I thought I'd take you to come and meet a couple of dear old friends of mine, Irene and Pete. Pete has had allotments for years and years and years, and whenever I meet him, invariably our conversation turns to all things horticultural. So I thought this time, what better than to take you along with me and come and visit Irene and Pete. Right, Pete, can you tell me what's your earliest memory of gardening?
Well, going with me dad on his crossbar to Corporation Street. That's when the war was on.
What's Corporation? Was that the allotments down there then?
Oh, massive.
Yeah.
Massive.
Yeah.
It went from right the way at bottom of Sandon Road all the way up Corporation Street.
Yeah.
That's a hell of a lot.
And so how many plots would be there?
And did it go up Prospect Road?
Went all the
Oh,
way.
yes.
Yeah.
So it covered a vast area.
Yeah.
It was good. Because obviously it was through the war. There's all houses there now, but
Yeah.
it was like I think there was 4 sites on this site. You know.
Yeah.
It was bloody massive. It was massive.
So I suppose in the case during the war, that's where they were sort of encouraging people to get out and dig dig
That's
for
what-
victory and all
That's
that,
what you
wasn't
had
it?
to
So,
do. Yeah.
so is that the first time your dad had an allotment, or had his dad grew stuff, or was it just?
I don't know. I think it just came about that where was you going to get your food from?
Yeah.
Everybody was.
So it was necessity,
Yeah.
wasn't it?
Everybody was poor in them days and all. I mean, when you put a seed potato in, you cut it in half
Yeah.
because you'd have twice. You know, you could have 2
Yeah.
plants. And that's what they did.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think where did you used to have to put them? Put them in the bottom drawer in his house, so they just started to shoot, and then that took them away. Then it was unbelievable.
So it's interesting now, because when you think of allotments now, a lot of them it's more leisure, I suppose, than necessity,
Oh,
and that's why you get these huge garden centres who can put a premium price on things. And often people say it's a lot cheaper to go to the shops than
yeah.
than to grow your own, But when you think of where it originated from,
The
it
price
would
of
make
stuff's
do amends.
ridiculous, isn't it? Mate, ridiculous.
Just for a few seed potatoes now you're paying, well, a ridiculous amount, So
Yeah,
it is more for the pleasure side of it. But so you remember going on your dad's crossbar?
yeah.
Do you remember actually him doing anything, or digging, or anything like that, or was that just?
Well, I wouldn't have known because I was only about 4 or 5 one
Yeah.
time. I was there when the war was on one time. Then it did come to, I think it'd been in the 50s when he packed up going up there, riding on his crossbar.
But it obviously stayed in your blood, because when did you get your own place?
Oh, I don't know when I got my own place. I think
You
it
were
was
in your
I was
30s.
helping Dave one time, and
Yes.
one came up, and then we went and got one. Then
So you were helping someone else on an allotment?
when we finished up and had a double allotment, then that was
Yeah.
like it was massive. It was
Yeah.
massive.
And you got the bug?
Well, yeah, and then because Dave didn't want to show anything, but I showed it, and we won the best in Stafford and 3rd in the Midlands.
So is that one of your first prizes? Because I know I've seen your certificates, and they go back to, and you won't mind me saying this, Pete, 1972? Which
Got to
is-
do then.
I'm trying to work that out now. 44 years ago, you were winning prizes then.
1972. Mm-hmm.
I think that was the Dahlia one. So Dahlias was your first
Yes.
things that you actually grew,
Oh.
yeah.
My dad was so proud of me.
All right.
Because I carried them in between my fingers. Didn't want to mess about with them.
Was this going to the show?
Yeah, and I went from Glebe Avenue to Dorman's, walked all the way.
How long's that then? Minutes?
Oh,
Half an hour?
minutes.
2 hours? 7 days?
I'd say about an hour it'd take you to
Good
get there.
grief. with your dahlias through your hands.
So the blooms wouldn't touch, you know. And then they told you not to leave the room. When you put them in, don't leave the room and let them kick you out.
Yeah.
Because what happened was, people would be jealous and they put the finger in the middle of them
You see.
and bubble them up.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
wouldn't believe it, would you?
Yeah.
And I was like, we couldn't do that, could
I
we?
know, and we were saying before how nice, you know, gardening is seen to be this lovely activity.
it wasn't.
Well, they're tinkers.
They did that. And oh, my dad was so proud of me because it
Yeah.
was his works, and I'd won like the gold medal for the best in the show and everything. It was, he's just unbelievable.
Yeah.
He was. It's just
Yeah.
fantastic for him. you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
And
So what made you then leave behind the dahlias? Because you haven't grown them in recent years, have you? Is it
No.
just you went on to vegetables and things to actually eat?
yeah. I don't think I grew any flowers down at Allotment. I don't think I did. But yeah.
Did you grow though when you got your allotment? Did you grow for show
No.
or
no,
did you
no.
grow for
No,
food?
Well, the reason we won was because Dave every day owned it. Didn't get the weeds off, they just shriveled up.
Yeah.
You don't have to do it because you just shrivel up with the sun because
Yeah.
everybody wants it. And when the judges come, they used to say, there's only one good near, isn't there? I mean, they couldn't believe that there wasn't any weeds.
Yeah.
We won Pitt Street, and then there was Corporation Street, somewhere up Highfields, I can't remember, and somewhere else. And we won the town, and then we went in the Midland, for the Midland one then.
So it was automatic that
Yeah,
you were
yeah.
put forward to
The
the
Midland
others?
ones,
Oh, right.
And the
Yes,
blokes,
I think
they
you're
could-
right, yeah.
they come in a car and come down, and they couldn't believe what it was like, these people who were judging. They couldn't believe it, because it wasn't just an allotment, it was a double allotment.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not joking. You know how big allotment is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know now though, because allotments have got that popular again, various reasons, what they're doing now is they're halving the original size of allotments, and some places are even quartering. So you're only getting a quarter size allotment. So for you to get a double allotment, that would be unheard of nowadays. You know, people are lucky if they get anything. You know, and the waiting lists are
Well,
are that long.
a double allotment, say from here to them trees up there.
Yeah.
How
Take a
long?
lot of work.
Yes, it was, yes.
So Irene, did Pete have an allotment when you met him?
No.
No, no.
No, yeah.
So there was something about you that made Pete want to get out of the house.
I think that was
Saturdays
the
and Sundays,
reason.
yeah.
I've realised now, yes, he needed to get away
Take the
from me.
back. What about when we got the lad locked in the shed?
Yeah.
Adam went through a cat flap at the allotment and he thought it was great fun and was laughing and giggling, enjoying himself in this greenhouse. And he wouldn't come out, so Pete and his mate Dave had to put a polo mint on their finger and entice Adam out of the cat flap. And that's the only way they could get him out.
He obviously loved it.
He did love it. He spent majority of his time down the allotment with Pete and Dave.
How old was he then?
I think he was about 3.
He must have been a tiny 3-year-old to get through a cat flap. How big was your cat?
Trying to get him out. Trying to get him out was what was it though? I mean, it wasn't even our allotment. It was
No.
somebody else.
Oh, well, that is embarrassing.
Oh,
yeah, you could have
yes.
left him at your
You
own.
could,
Oh,
you
you
could
know,
smash
that,
the window. And
that
nothing
would have,
like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
It was unbelievable. There's Dave getting him out there.
Adam spent lots of time down the allotment with his dad, Pete. Pete used to take him during the evenings in the summer, and he used to love running up and down the allotment trying to help, although sometimes I think he was a bit of a hindrance because they had to keep their eye on him in case he ran through the cat flap again. But he absolutely loved it. Adam had entered the county show Garden on a Plate, and he went out into the garden, found as much moss as he could. He built the cottage out of lollipop sticks and straw and different materials. He used a little mirror to make a pond, went off to the county show with his dad and was as proud as could be when he got first prize.
So you got your allotment with Dave. That was your first real allotment then. That was your double allotment.
My own allotment.
And it sounds to me like you had a good relationship if Dave was happy to go along and hoe, because a lot of people can't bear that idea. So what was your main
Believe it or
input
not,
then?
Dave.
Don't say you went every day,
Believe
please.
it or not, Dave had the same name as me,
Oh right,
and we wasn't related.
but you're not called Dave.
No, his name was Dave Weaver.
Oh, I was going to say you're called Pete. That's different. Right, okay. All right, okay. So you were meant to be together.
Well, we used to use the pub, didn't we, together.
Oh, that's a different story.
You
Pete.
got on very
That's a
well,
different
yes.
I was a nice bloke.
So you and he did the hoeing. What did you do? What was your main thing? What was your input?
Oh, trying to encourage him to do things like, he was like a bit stubborn at times, but like I found things like putting lime around a plant like that.
Oh yeah.
So the slugs wouldn't go climb over it.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
it.
Yeah.
What you used to do, if you did put a cabbage in, you'd put a circle round it of lime.
Yeah.
I don't think you can get lime now, I don't know.
Yeah, you can.
Can.
You can certainly get it at the allotment shops, but yeah, you can get it. It's still used
that's-
for brassicas a lot.
But that's how you stopped the slugs and snails eating your crop.
Yeah. What was your favourite thing then to grow, Pete? We've seen your onions.
If you showed them, you needed 3 good ones, so therefore you had to grow so many to get them all in 3 exactly the same.
Did you have a greenhouse?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, right, okay.
You were brilliant at growing your tomatoes.
Okay.
They were absolutely fantastic. And you grew cucumbers in the greenhouse.
What about the raspberries and blackberries?
Oh, the raspberry canes were
Come on,
wonderful,
they're
yes.
big as my thumb.
Yeah.
Brilliant, fantastic ones.
Yeah.
Didn't we?
What about your tomatoes then? What varieties did you grow then?
Uh,
I mean, I'm saying then.
I
how many
think
years
it
ago?
was,
Growmore or something.
No, it was Moneymaker.
Moneymaker.
Because that's a good old standard. Gardener's Delight's a good old standard.
Yeah, Moneymakers.
I'm
Yeah.
sure it was Moneymaker was his main crop. But the judges always commented on the tomatoes.
Did you have them in pots or grow bags, or did you have like a?
No, I just grew them in the soil.
You had soil in the greenhouse,
yeah.
yeah.
Put a load of muck under them.
Mm.
I think you did try 1 or 2 in a grow bag.
I
one year.
find they don't do very
I
well.
was going to say I don't think they did so
Yeah,
well.
They dry out.
What we did, we had a big drum, and what you do is put the manure in a sack, put the sack in hanging over the side, and then when you pulled it out, you had all,
Liquid
terrific
manure.
liquid manure. It was fantastic to put round
We've done the same with comfrey, and the smell is atrocious. But I always think the worse it smells,
yeah.
the better it is. Like saying taking medicine, the worse it tastes, the better it is for you. But but similar sort of things. People do it with seaweed as well.
I would
Yeah, so-
honestly say the best, really, having a good mate with the same name as me, but he, every day,
If you
I
can
don't
find,
think
if
it
you
matters.
can find someone, with
Every
the
day.
same name as you, it helps.
I don't
No,
think it
no,
matters,
but I'm
to be
saying-
honest.
every day he owned,
Yeah, oh,
and he never picked the stuff out.
So what about the digging then? Who did the digging, Pete?
He did.
He did the
What-
digging.
He did.
So he did the digging and the hoeing.
He did most of it,
Did he?
Yeah.
Should I be
But-
interviewing him?
But how, like,
impossible.
how I'm trying to tell people is, going across this room, your back's knackered.
Mm.
But if you just do that much, then walk and do that much, it's only, you know what I mean, how easy
So
it
that's
is.
your 5 spits method.
it
Yeah.
is, yes.
That's-
5 spits. So
if
do
I was-
5
Yes.
spits.
I think that's the best thing I can tell anybody, how to dig a allotment.
Wouldn't it too? I think the thing is that a lot of people, and I'm the same, I'm very impatient, which isn't good for being a gardener, but people just sit and they think, oh, I just want to get it done, because I want to get on to the next stage.
Yeah, but the thing is, they want to get it done, but the back's knackered when they've done 14
Yeah,
across,
yeah, yeah.
isn't it? But if you only do 5, you still do it in the same time.
Yeah.
This is Snowy. He was a right character. Lovely, lovely man. He loved his allotment, but he also loved to go fishing as well. This was Harry. He was really nice, and he always carried mints in his pocket. And if ever Adam went to the allotment, he'd always got a mint to give him.
What do you say then, Pete? What's your top tips? You've told us about the lime around the cabbages.
Yeah.
And we're going to go out and look at your parsnips in a minute.
And I told you, once you've got the cabbages, strike it across.
Oh, go
and
on.
then you got more cabbages.
Go on, tell me that again.
When they're ready, you can cut them off and then just cross it with a knife, then you'll get 2 little ones grow again for later on in the autumn.
Hello, Jingles. Hello. Okay, Pete, take me to your parsnips.
It's basically what we did, right? With 2 like that, right? Put them together, seal it, right?
Mhm.
And then what you did, you got a drain pipe down the middle, then you filled all this in, then the drain pipe you mix special stuff where you'd never have a stone in, and then you just put it in all down, and then you just put 3 seeds on the top, and then let them, and then pull 2 of them out, and then they just go. What you did, you watered the bottom down here, and
Yeah.
that'd make them go for it.
So, was the bottom part of
Be in a trench it was.
that would be in a trench?
But
Okay.
you obviously got a piece of wood to hold it up, or else it'd fall over. And then you just water it, and they go for it. And then when you come to get them, you opened it up gently, lay it over, got it out, and then what I used to do was put them in the bath
Oh yeah.
overnight.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then by the next day they were just ready to carry down the road.
So the pipe comes in 2 parts, yeah.
Well, you cut it.
So you just, yeah, I
could
see.
get pipe that thick, And
Because
that's
the
what you did.
idea of actually trying to dig up a 4-foot long parsnip,
Eh?
the idea of actually
Well, that's
having to
what
dig it
was,
up, yeah,
Well,
yeah,
you'd have them in a trench, and then you'd water from the bottom,
yeah.
and they'd go for the water down there.
So you'd never quite know what you got until you actually undid it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what you did, you grew 6 of these. You had
Yeah.
6 of these, then picked three of the best out.
Fantastic. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
imagine when you was at a show and somebody said, as soon as they seen it, they just went, oh. And then they used to just take theirs home.
Fantastic.
There'd be quite a lot of people, and they'd be thinking, bloody hell, we're going to beat this chap.
Hello, Jingles. So Irene, we've known each other for about 10 years?
At least.
10 years now, and I remember you telling me about this before we had an allotment or anything, and it was, do you want to tell us a little bit about it?
Yes, I did this for my geography coursework. I did a course at Stafford College, Geography GCSE, and I decided to do Are Allotments a Thing of the Past?
Yeah.
And
Can I just say first and foremost, can we just appreciate the cover painted by Adam, your son
Yes,
Adam. How old
Adam.
was Adam at the time?
Adam was about 15, I think.
Bless him, yeah. Oh,
And he
fantastic.
said I'd got to have a nice cover and he'd help me do it, so
Yeah.
he did it for me. Pete was very good helping me gather information for it.
Well, what made you decide on Our Allotment's a Thing of the Past? What interested you about that? Because obviously Pete had an allotment.
Pete had the allotment, but also a tutor at the college, she had an allotment
Ah, right.
on the
Okay.
same site.
Yeah.
And I wasn't sure what to do for my coursework, and she put the idea to me.
Ah,
Why
right,
don't
okay.
you do Our Allotment? Well, she came up with the title, Our Allotment's a Thing of the Past.
And so that was, how many years ago did we say? About 20?
Yes, about 20
years ago. Because what interested me about this was the fact that allotments over the last 5, 10 years even have become so hard to get hold of.
Yeah,
and
so
I
popular,
suppose
yeah.
it's because of things like the Great Allotment Challenge.
Yes,
There's been
yeah,
a complete
yeah.
resurgence of like the old craft type
Yes, yeah.
things. Like, so Kirsty Allsop's got a lot to answer for. The bake-off,
Yeah,
gardening, all
yeah,
this sort of stuff
yeah.
has had a resurgence. But it's interesting to think that 20, 25 years ago, you were looking at whether allotments were actually, they'd had their day or not,
Exactly, yes,
not
yeah.
knowing what was going to come around the next corner.
That's right,
So,
yes, yeah.
So yeah, it is. So how was it? How did you actually go about putting this together? Because you've got a huge amount of information here. I mean, it's.
I did do quite a lot of research, and as regards doing the map for the allotment sites,
Yeah.
I think I went to the William Salt Library. They gave me some information about the sites, and also Pete drove me to every site
Wow.
to check that it was still there.
I mean, these are the days pre-Google,
Yes,
you know,
yeah,
and
there
so
yes,
it was literally going to the library,
yes,
getting out and
yeah.
about, and discovering
Exactly,
it yourself, wasn't it? You
yes,
know,
yes.
so. The area that you've decided to concentrate on was Stafford, obviously, because
Yes.
that was somewhere you could actually
Yes,
sort of
yeah.
have a look around yourself. But 21 allotments in Stafford, and it says here, which I thought was wonderful. And bear in mind, 25 years ago, allotments in Stafford are run by Stafford Borough Horticultural Society. Rents for each allotment are set at £1.75 per rood. Do you want to explain to me what a rood is? This is where we need Google. I mean, it's obviously some sort of measurement of land.
It is, oh, yes.
It says plus £1 per rood water sales per year. The average allotment is 5 roods, and the size of one rood, here we go, is equal to 6 to 8 yards.
Oh,
You see,
right.
that's a proper pub quiz
right.
question, that is.
Yes.
So yeah, still sort of a minimal amount to pay. And I mean, my allotment, it's at the moment, I think it's £16 a year, but then we get charged £19 a year for water. But I don't mind, we've got water on site, and that's great, and that's still quite a small amount. But when you look at some of the allotments in, I don't know, for example, in London,
Yes,
in
yeah.
Camden, ridiculous amount.
Oh, there must be, yes.
Yeah, and
the
the
rents.
waiting list
Yes,
there are 15
yeah,
years
yeah.
plus. You know, and you think, well, how? Well, it obviously just shows the popularity,
Mhm.
proving that they're not a thing of the past. If
Exactly,
25
yes.
years ago, we're
Yes,
still going.
Yes. I felt I did prove by doing that they weren't a thing of the past.
No. This is another one that there was one allotment site only charged half the rental cost because it was uphill.
Oh!
And I know Aaron has had a problem with having his allotment uphill. I think actually my camera's a little bit uphill at the minute, so we're on a bit of a slant. But I know Aaron, you faced an uphill allotment, and Tony has got his all terraced. But just you might be worth going to the council and saying I only want to pay half the rent.
Yes, I wonder
Because
what would happen.
Yes, it's slightly inconvenient. Just say there is documentary evidence about the
Yes.
ones in Stafford.
Yes, I think he's got a leg to stand on
Yes.
there.
And then it says there, and I love this, if an allotment holder does not pay their rent by the 25th of March, which is Ladies' Day, they are given 40 days to then pay their rent, and obviously if they don't, then they're chucked off, which is fair enough. But the other thing that's in here, I mean, it's absolutely wonderful because we've got rules for your allotment association. We've got all of all of Pete's fantastic amount of prizes and certificates and everything we've got in here. We've got actually an article from the National Vegetable Society newsletter saying, is there a future for allotmenteering? Again, who'd have known? Maybe it was a dying art form then, but obviously this was 1992.
Yes.
So 23 years ago, it says that successful allotmenteering depends on successful allotments associations. But, but Irene, I think what I love here was that you went out and interviewed, I don't know how many people here. Can you remember how many people
I
it was?
can't, to be honest. I know I printed off several forms and just...
With the photocopiers then? That sounds a bit silly. But I'm just wondering now. I mean, this isn't
actually remember.
This isn't printed off a computer. This is the old-fashioned days where you had to type it out.
It might.
Wasn't it?
Yes, it might.
There
I
was
can't quite remember
There
now.
was a photocopier machine, wasn't
It must
Yes,
yeah,
but
must
I
have
don't
been,
know
must
if
have
I'd used.
But when it
That or
says
not.
here, I mean, you've got some fantastic graphs showing age groups of allotment holders, how often they spend at the allotment, why they go to the allotment. But what's interested me here is at the bottom it says, why do you have your allotment? And we've got things going from relaxation, exercise, and this person, again, bear in mind, it's 20 odd years ago, for a supply of homegrown organic vegetables. Well, to be thinking about organic then, that was fairly advanced. Cheap, healthy eating, and you'll like this, to stop the property developers. And that is still going
Yes,
on. There
even
are
now.
allotments that are being taken over,
Yes.
have been there for hundreds of years
Yes.
now, that are being
Yeah.
Well, just
challenged
look
by the
at,
council.
look at Oxford Gardens, there's all the houses been took
Is it
over.
obviously, it's
Yes.
money, is it? And I know
Yes.
we've got to have houses.
Yeah.
I like this one. Who was in government in 1992? Who would it have been?
Can't think.
Was
We'd
it-
have
was
to
it?
Google
We'd,
it.
we'd have to Google it. Why do you have your allotment? Enjoyment and keeping the cost of living down due to unfair government. That was not your words.
No.
They're the words
no.
of the allotment.
Yes.
Fresh veg, good exercise, fresh chemical-free produce, self-sufficient nearly 12 months, and a hobby in the open air. Having worked in a factory all my working life, it enables me to get outside in the fresh air and meet different people. I think again, it's a bit of a leveller, isn't it? If we use, you know, it doesn't sound too much of a pun to use that term. You do go and you meet people from all walks of life.
Yes. Oh yes.
I think there was, in the olden days, there was the thing that it was just people like with cloth caps and the whippets
not
and the
at
go
all,
on.
no,
But
no.
and what's nice
Not
is
now.
you're not bothered about what they do.
No.
You know,
Oh no, no.
You just like to see them
They're-
in the allotment and you
yes,
talk about
They're
that.
just the same as you, aren't they? Yes.
I'm unemployed and gardening fills my day. Relaxation, fresh veg, meeting others, grow our own fresh and vegetables, exercise, being outside in the fresh air. And I think that, again, that could be, if you gave that questionnaire out today, I think the answers would be the same.
I think so. Yes.
Did
yes.
you know there was allotment shops?
Yes, yeah. Well, we've got a picture of
Yes.
Chris,
Colin.
Colin
Colin in
at the allotment shop. Just reading this, and I have spent a good time, I've gone right through this cover to cover. It would be interesting, obviously allotments are thriving at the moment for various reasons, but you know, in another 20 odd years, this could have been written yesterday.
Oh yes.
You
yes.
know, I would still say unfair government,
Yes.
etc. You know, people can still argue that, but it's still as relevant today, and I'm wondering in another 20 odd years, if it would be as relevant. I'm just going to have to show Irene, how often is the allotment visited? How about that? How about that for a
All
graph?
depends how.
That's fantastic. And it does say daily. 48% of people visited daily at the time. Again, it will change according to sites. There are different sites, you know. Some people have allotments in their family, don't they? And they get
Oh,
passed
yes,
on through
they-
generations.
yes.
So, and there we go back to the photographs there. But absolutely fascinating. Yeah, I mean, if anything could just prove that allotments aren't a thing of the past, I think it's Irene's incredible document. So
Well,
well
thank
done,
you.
Irene. I hope you passed with that.
I
You
certainly
passed with
did.
flying colours.
I did,
Yeah.
and I thoroughly enjoyed doing it.
And did you think
Yeah.
when you did that 20 odd years ago?
No.
that I was
And even now, when I do mention it to people, I actually feel really proud
yeah.
that it is still relevant.
Yeah.
You know, I think how wonderful, you
That
know.
you've still done, yeah. And I think people don't realise that. Whatever you do, and one of the reasons I do the videos, and definitely one of the reasons I started it, was to keep a record.
Yes.
And now, even now, a couple of years on, I can look back and see what I was doing, because I've got a memory like a sieve and I forget. And so it does keep you going. But when you've got that period of time, it's fantastic, yeah. So that's a family heirloom.
Well, yes, I'd
Yeah.
like to think so.
So, I hope you enjoyed that visit. What a lovely couple they are. And the amount of stuff that I've edited out, because I was there for hours and we just sat and talked about allotments and gardening for hours. And had a really good laugh. They're such a lovely couple. And what you didn't see was the copious amounts of tea and coffee that I was provided with. And Irene's always got a little bit of homemade cake, as you can imagine. So that was absolutely lovely. I'm suddenly really self-conscious that I might have holes in my socks, so please don't look down here. I've usually got wellies on. So yes, that was it. Please let me know. I hope you enjoyed it. It was something a little bit different. Please let me know what you think about it in a nice way in the comments below. And hopefully I'll see you back down at the allotment again soon. Okay, thank you. Bye.